On March 27, 1998, about 8,000 people came together in Washington, D.C. to demand recognition and amnesty for political prisoners and prisoners of war jailed throughout the United States. At present, there are some 150 such women and men suffering disproportionately long sentences under the harshest conditions for their involvement in movements for black liberation, Native American sovereignty, Puerto Rican independence, North American anti-imperialism and anti-authoritarianism, anti-nuclear activities, and environmental activism. And on March 27th, their supporters were as diverse a crowd as the prisoners themselves, coming from every corner of this nation, from the youth to the elders, bridging racial, political, and cultural gaps, uniting in one common call: free all our political prisoners now. And in the tradition of that well-known spiritual, Joshua fit the battle of Jericho, we rallied under the banner, Jericho98.
The Piscataway Indian Nation, whose land you're standing on.
All right. Yeah.
Not the government, not the federal government. This is occupied land.
Occupied land.
This is Piscataway Indian land.
All right.
I wish to welcome everybody who came here today to fight for the political prisoners. We want to express solidarity with all political prisoners in the United States and Canada. They tell us there are no political prisoners in the United States and Canada. But among our people, we have one. His name is Leonard Pelletier. I'm welcoming you here. In the name of the native people of this land, I'd like to point out that this land is drenched with our blood. From the Chesapeake Bay to the Pacific Ocean, they're drenched with this blood. Stand by us. We're going to stand by you.
We are here in our numbers, and we are pleased to see that so many of you responded to the call. You know why we're here. We're here because of the plight of our political prisoners and prisoners of war. And Jericho was designed to address that issue. Jericho is important because the United States government has for decades been able to avoid that issue by saying they have no political prisoners. And as a result of that, they're able to go around the world pointing the finger of accusation at other countries like China, like Iraq, Iran, Libya, North Korea, Cuba, and say you have political prisoners and that you are not part of a democratic society. Well, now, for the benefit of the United States government, Castro has released many of his political prisoners. Political prisoners have been released in other countries. Why can't you do it here? Now, for those of you who don't know how Jericho originated, let me tell you exactly how it originated. Several years ago, the Republic of New Africa, annually on the date of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, which brought the Republic of New Africa into existence in March of 1968, to commemorate that event, they began to have Jericho marches. And they had these marches up until 1993. That was the last march, but not on such a scale as this one today. A political prisoner who is behind the walls, Jalil Montequin. Remember this name, Jalil Montequin, was the one who came up with the idea of starting up the Jericho again but this time focusing on political prisoners, demanding recognition and amnesty for those political prisoners. He called for me, and he called for Safaya Bakari to come visit him, and in the prison visiting room, we ironed out the details of how we were going to get started. And we started putting the word out. We got in touch with groups of you that were already in existence. Those of you who had already support groups for various political prisoners, like Leonard Peltier, like Sundiata Akoli, like Mumia Abu Jamal. And we called on these groups to help us motivate, mobilize, and educate the masses of people so they would join us here in a Jericho to gain recognition for political prisoners and amnesty for them. You have responded in large numbers. We're pleased to see that you're here. And we do not make any distinction. We say that all of the political prisoners have to be supported. We have to make sure that we understand that and that we mean that. Because if we start separating according to race, gender, or whatever else, then the enemy will be able to expand on that crack and develop a schism between them.
I come from the Haida Nation to support you in your struggle. I've been in the struggle for over 40 years and nothing much has changed. And we're nearing the year 2000 and we still are political prisoners in our own lands. And that must come to an end. If the president of this country can go over to Africa and tell them that genocide must come to an end there, then it must begin here. Freedom is what we want. Freedom.
Come and join the October 10th march and rally. Bring your family, friends, co-workers, and fellow students, and help raise the cry so the whole world can hear. Free all U.S. political prisoners now.